So pitch deck versus a business plan. Right. So pitch deck is much shorter and more concise than a business plan. Business plans have been the norm over the years, and everyone is familiar with them. But over the last few years, pitch decks have become more popular, and especially in the tech community. So when you look at pitch deck could be shorter, be 10 to 20 pages, and is more concise and doesn't have as much detail. So pitch deck could be used for preliminary engagement. So from the early stages, if you're engaging with someone and they decide, please send me your deck, so you send your pitch deck. Something short. Just imagine if an investor receives 10 business plans a day and each one is 50 or 100 pages. They wouldn't have the capacity to read all of that. Hence, we now have pitch decks. So I advise startups to have 3 different pitch decks. You have your customer pitch deck, which is the one that you use when you're pitching business to customers, which would have different things that you highlight and show there. Then an investor pitch deck, which has things that investors will be looking for. They want to see certain numbers, metrics, things like CAC, which is cost of customer acquisition, LTV, long lifetime value of the customer. They want to see your go-to-market strategy, etc. And then you have a pitch event pitch deck. That's the one that you will then pitch to people when you're at a pitch event or pitch night or competition. That one is more, you have slightly less information so that you can then elaborate as you speak. So you just have these cues. The investor deck would have just a bit more detail because you'll send it in an email and then you'll come and then pitch that one later. But the pitch one and the investor one can overlap. Then when you look at a business plan, which is the traditional one, be more in-depth and longer business plan will highlight the market, for the whole of PESTEL, which would be political, economic, society, technology, legal, and environment. That'll be PESTEL. You go in depth about that. You go in depth about that. Sorry. Can you hear me? You go in depth about that. And then some investors you go in depth about that on your business plan. And then you also have some investors who ask for a pitch deck in the beginning. And then once they engage with you and they do due diligence, they will then ask for a business plan. So you may still need a business plan. You may not be able to get away with just having a pitch deck. So you can have a pitch deck without a business plan, but I would advise you to start with the pitch deck and then have a business plan maybe for later. And then this is the format that you use for your deck. So this is suggested by Knife Capital, which is a VC firm in South Africa. So we wanted to look at something on the continent so it makes sense to us. So we'd have your cover slide, which says what your company is. And if it makes sense, you can have one-line pitch or a tagline. So Econet, we know connecting the world to Econet, we put that purpose, a guiding principle. We are in the business of communication. We are in the business of technology, something to get people started. And then you get into the meat of things, which is the problem. Describe the problem in the market. What is the pain you're trying to achieve, alleviate? This is what people want to know. This is where it becomes important, and this is where you differentiate your pitch deck from your business plan. So you highlight what the problem is so that people understand, okay, this is something serious. And then from there, you move on to the solution and how you then alleviate this pain. They match, like the problem, this is the solution. You would then go on to highlight the product that you've created and show an outline of your product. Ideally, what you want to do is have an example, and this would be a demo, a screenshot of what the product is, how it works. A demo, if that would be done if you've got time. Most pitch decks can range anywhere from 2 minutes to 7 or 10. So depending on the time, that will affect what goes into the pitch. That's why you need a pitch for a pitch night, because it may be shorter, but if you're sending an email to an investor, you can then afford to have a much longer pitch deck. And then why now? What are the driving forces in the market that make the solution relevant? Why have you chosen to do this? Is the industry growing? Is there a space? But in this way, you now highlight this and justify market potential. This is a very, very important slide. Investor and people in the crowd, they want to know, how big is the market that you're trying to address? Is there money to be made? Is this a real opportunity? Is this a real business? You need to then highlight this, because you are the owner of the business. You are considered an expert. The investor is not an expert, so they're hoping that you will lead and show them, okay, this is actually a market worth looking at. And then competition, the key competitor matrix. This is also important. They want to know, what's the difference between you and the competition? What are they doing that you're not doing? And what are you going to do? It shows them that you know who's in the market and you've done your research. Very few times there will be no competitors. So that if you say there's none, you lose people. And then team, the key players in the organization. They want to know what the people are doing in the organization. What are the skills that they have, and what do they bring to this business? So you need to give a summary of your credentials. And for this one, this is where you get to brag and say, I've done ABC, my team has done ABC, and you really sell yourselves to the investor and the crowd so that they can believe in you and hopefully invest in it. This is where you get to show that and say, okay, we've done ABC, we've contacted this number of people, we have done this, we've done that. You show that you're actually making headway into the market. And then you get to your business model. How do you make money? That's what they want to know. So you just have to lay it out there. Show exactly how the business is working. And then financial projections, revenue, cost, EBITDA, this year, last year. If you're in early stage and you haven't made money, this may not apply. But if you're further down the line, they want to see how much money you've made, so they see potentially how much the business is worth. And then the final slide would be, what is the ask? The ask would be, what are you looking for? So if you're looking for mentorship, you state that. If you're looking for funding, you state that. If you're just pitching because you're pitching, which is never a great idea, you say that, but you say what your ask is at the end. And then instructions. So when you're building your pitch deck, your slides must illustrate and tell a story in a picture format. Use more pictures and less text. The issue with using lots of text means that there's a lot of reading that needs to be done and people won't listen to you as much. So focus on using a lot of pictures and minimal text. So you have to use these pictures to then tell a story, and you flow from one image to the next, building around a certain theme or a narrative which people will then understand and buy into. So you need to figure that out as you pitch. The pitch is you're telling a story from the beginning where you have your problem and solution until you get to the end. And then one of the things, you need to present it to anyone and make them excited about your business. You're actually solving a real problem. Use big pictures, not small, words and patterns, not sentences, and try and avoid buzzwords. Don't use buzzwords like disruption, innovate, words like we are the Uber of, we've heard this so many times, fourth industrial revolution. Because an AI, if you don't understand it, just don't use the buzzwords because you'll be questioned and you look bad. So feel free to make more slides if you need to tell your story. Don't constrain yourself, but the only constraint that should be there should be time. So you try and fit as much important stuff as you can. What you want to do is, after when you're done with your pitch deck, you want to get enough questions, but more questions about elaborating on stuff that you've spoken about, not questions about stuff they do not understand, which shows me that you probably did not present properly. And even with myself, when I look at pitch decks, I don't necessarily look at the way it's presented, but you look at the quality of the message. You see, because some people cannot present well, but the message may be what's important. So also when you pitch, there's a certain language that you use. Don't use passive language, use more forthright and authoritative language. So like here we say, don't say we are planning to, we hope to. Say next month we are in the process of, not we think that, we know that. You are the authority and the expert, so you have to own that. Passive, our aim is to know, we will be preferred. We are considering should be, we are investigating. We have had interest from industry. That's very broad. We want to then narrow it down to the niche. So it'd rather be, we have interest from a company, if you can't say a big player in this field. And then customer interviews have validated that. You say we have tested this part of our product with potential customers and we have traction. So you need to own it and be the custodian. So then you have the elevator pitch, which is a shortened version of the pitch. Imagine you meet the CEO of a company you've been trying to court in an elevator, and you're going up to the 10th floor of a 12th floor building. So now you get there to in the building with this CEO, and you ask, what are you doing? So then you have 7 minutes to pitch to him, and that's when you do the elevator pitch. So you then say, we have an example company called Gleamer. So you'd say, Gleamer is Uber for mobile auto details. See, you've said exactly what it does. Our iPhone app helps consumers get an affordable professional auto detail wherever they are. Wherever they are, whenever they want. And we help mobile auto detailers spend less time chasing customers and more time detailing cars. So it says exactly what the service is, who it's for, and what exactly it does. Then it goes on to say, we're initially targeting the $12 billion market for mobile auto details. Shows how big the market is. We make our money by collecting 15% transaction fee from auto detailers. Is the business model. We acquire customers primarily through online marketing, and we get a 5x return on our customer acquisition cost. Shows who the customers is and how their go-to market strategy. And then we have an experienced team with deep domain expertise, patented pending technology, and the first mover advantage. In our first 6 months, we've signed up 1,600 detailers and 16,000 consumers. We're making 162 grand a month and doubling users and revenue every month. This you can say in less than 2 minutes. That's the elevator pitch, so that by the time they get to their floor, you are able to sell them on your business. So for those looking to build pitch decks, I would suggest looking at slidebean.com. You can get samples from there. Slideshare.com. You can also get sample pitch decks from there. You pay, I think it's about $40 or $50 US. You get access to sample decks, and then you can just edit them according to your needs and type of business that you have. And one thing I will say is that when you're building your decks, don't use language that's do not use language that is too technical. If you're presenting to maybe an investor or just on a pitch night, rather you need to know your audience. So if you're presenting to medical professionals and it's a medical business, then yes, you can go technical or IT if those are your customers. But if it's to an investor who may not necessarily fully grasp, then you have to make it more palatable so they understand. Another resource is YouTube. YouTube, there's lots of pitches that you can find there to see how people pitch, and videos of pitch decks. You use that. And one thing I will say is then you then participate in pitch competitions. You participate in competitions. This allows you to get practice. You get feedback from other people, see what others are doing, see what's wrong with what you're doing. You play within the different formats. Maybe you do a 2-minute pitch deck, 2-minute pitch competition or 7-minute pitch competition. But you need to be involved so that you get used to it. And then you can also use a graphic designer to do it or do it yourself. So instead of slide bean or SlideShare, you find a graphic designer and they'll do the pitch deck for you. That I suggest if you're seriously fundraising and you already have some sort of money, and then every 6 to 8 months, you then edit it and add more information as your startup grows. But that one is further down. If you don't have the money, rather get a template or do it on PowerPoint and do it for yourself. And then you also learn and get intimate with it, and it'll just save you money. There's also pitch.com, which is a new startup. They give you a 30-day free trial. You can try that. They have templates. You can get a template from there, do your pitch, and then present, and then keep that for 6 or so months. And then after you change, you get a new one or you use a graphic design. And then one thing I will say about pitching is you need to practice. So if you continuously pitch over and over, you need to pitch every day as an entrepreneur. So you pitch to customers, you pitch to investors, you pitch to potential employees, you pitch. As you get used to pitching, you get better at it, and you're able then to pitch in front of a crowd, because that's when it gets difficult. But you want to know your business intimately and be able to pitch, so that when you're in front of an audience, it goes smoothly. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Titi, yes, I'll send you the video. No problem. Yeah. So that's, and now we'll just look at some pitch decks so we can give you an example of what we're talking about. Right. So we have, I'm sure everyone knows Airbnb. If they don't, but Airbnb is where you can book and rent a bed or a place to stay. So this is their first pitch deck when they first raised money. You can see this is their first pitch deck, pretty simple. That's their tagline: welcome, book rooms with locals rather than hotels. Problem from the outset: price is an important concern. Hotels leave you disconnected. No easy way exists to book a room with a local or become a host. They've already said three sentences. That's the problem. They say solution. The key words here is a web platform. They said exactly what they are, and this is where users can rent out their space to host travelers to save money when traveling, make money when hosting, and share culture. So this goes back to the problem. They've addressed the problem: price, save money. Hotels leave you disconnected from the city, share culture. Make money, When Yebo. Sorry, they addressed those three. So they've addressed those three problems with their solution. Make money when hosting. We get to the market validation. Sorry, market validation. Couchsurfing.com was the first site that they had. They're showing they have 660,000 users, and Craigslist has 50,000 temporary housing listings per week. So they're showing, okay, there's a market for it. We are much bigger than other competition. Craigslist and the market size. They've broken it down worldwide. 2 billion trips are booked, but online it's 560 million, and they're planning to get 15% of the market. So they've broken it down. That's how much Airbnb is looking to get, 15%. One thing I will say is when you're pitching, never say that we're looking to get 1 or 2%, because that doesn't give an investor confidence or anyone who's looking at your business. Why are you looking for a small percentage? You should be looking for 10, 20%. You should be looking to change the way things are done because you believe your business is better. So the Airbnb said we will take 84 million bookings. But yeah. Then product, as we said, more pictures, less words. They've broken it. They've showed you a screenshot of exactly what the product is. You can see that Airbnb, it's a website. So you go search by city, review listings, and book it. They're showing exactly step by step how it works. Search by city, review listings, and then you book it. Very clean, tells a story you can understand. Business model, we take 10% commission on each transaction. Very simple. They've said we're taking 15% of the market. We will have 84 million, and then we will take 84 million bookings. We will take a fee of $25, and they'll make 2.1 billion in revenue. And then adoption strategy, this is their go-to market strategy. So they're looking to use events. You can see they have the different events that they're targeting. That's how they'll get to people. And then they have partnerships. That's where they'll attract people. And then they'll also post on their competitor sites, Craigslist. And then, as you can see, now you've got the competition. They're showing you where the competition is: the affordable, expensive, online, offline. And they've done a comparison so you can see where they sit. So now as an investor or customer, you say, okay, Airbnb is better because of ABC, because they are more affordable and they're online. And then the competitive advantage. The competitive advantage, they're the first to market. And the host incentive, hosts make money. So they're showing both sides make money, hosts make money, and the host will make money, and the person staying saves money. And showing compared to Craigslist, where you have to list every week, there on Airbnb you list once and it's done. And then the ease of use, search by price, location, check-in, profiles, design. They're explaining everything that makes them good. And then here they state the team. You can see the team, what they've done, School of Design. Nathan has created Facebook apps and so forth. He created Facebook apps and so forth. So that shows, okay, there's a strong team. And then at the end, they share press where they've been featured, what they've done, what people are saying about them, the users, what users think of Airbnb. So they show the what users, and then the financials. This is where they do their ask. They're looking for 12 months financing to reach 80,000 transactions on Airbnb, angel round, and the trips. So they're looking, so 500 grand will give them 2 million revenue. Pretty simple. That's Airbnb. Let's look at one more. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Any questions? Any questions you can always ask. If not, we'll just continue. Let's look at another deck quickly. Then we have Twende. It's an African startup that was trying to raise money. You can see empowering logistics and mobility in Africa. They here, they then paint their journey of what they're doing. They paint the journey of what they're doing, as you can see, from when they started in 2018. So you can say, okay, that's where they started, and then where they are now in 2020. Then the problem, more than 80% of third-party logistics operators in East Africa still perform key operations using slow, tedious, and costly manual processes. Basically, cost of moving goods in Africa accounts for as much as 75% of retail price. That is the issue. The cost of moving goods is too high. So what are they going to do? Twift by Twende, this is now the solution, is a SaaS, is a software as a service tool that enables third-party logistics operators to effectively run daily operations, streamline business functions, and grow. I've told you exactly what they're going to do, what the features are, and the product that they have. So it's a tool that you can use on your phone and on your tablet. So it's a simple, easy to use and comprehensive dashboard for logistics operators. And there you can see they're showing you screenshots of what they do and how to operate. And service providers can also track features. There you go, more screenshots. This is what exactly their mission is. We want to equip a large underserved category of transportation operators with the tools to take advantage of the digital movement. Given our learnings in mobility, our approach is anchored on partnerships and cooperation to capture the immense opportunity to modernize logistics in Africa. That's what they plan. So then they say, this is how big the market is. And you can see they've highlighted the total addressable market in Africa, 355 billion. And then the serviceable addressable market, it's worth 10 billion, and then the share of market, the revenue of opportunity, the opportunity that they think they can get is about $80 million. So then they tell you the price as well and how it will go. They're showing that 8% compound annual growth rate of the market. So there's the logistics market is growing, that indicate. And they're showing the business model and what they will charge: basic, standard, and pro. 3 tiers for different customers. So they are catering to everyone and how much they charge, how much they look potentially make. Now here you have competition. They're showing you where the competition is. You can see there's not much competition in this space, and most of them focus on the larger businesses, not the smaller business. So they're showing you, okay, look, let's get in here because there's an opportunity. And then here they further break it down. The cost of our solution is estimated for less than 4% of your revenue. Seamless user experience focused on small and medium service providers. And then 2 logistic operators are testing the platform. This is traction now. 20 plus logistic operators are waiting to test the waiting list. Expected conversion to 10,000 monthly recurring revenue. They're expecting to make 10,000 a month, and this will be over. And now they have a financial projection of monthly recurring revenue. So now where we sit in June, they're almost at about $35,000. So they're showing, okay, this is the growth we are expecting from January, we're making less than 5 to about 150,000 by December. And then here they've shown you the financing, telling you the story of where they're trying to get to. And here's the team and what they've done. You see their qualifications, where they've worked, the advisor, all that sort of information. And then this is now the ask. We are raising 100,000 to fund our 12-month growth plan. Investment, the type of investment they're looking for, and then they state what exactly they want to do with the funds. You can see the funds are nicely apportioned to operations, marketing, tech team, so that an investor understands. One thing I will say is that you should never ask for too little money. It's better to ask for too much than too little money. If you ask for too little, we don't believe that you can actually grow the business and achieve the growth that you're looking for. So we get worried when the ask is very small. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Any questions? On local Zim companies? Yes. Let me see. Okay, I'll show you a Zim company, just a couple of Zim companies now. I was going to show you another American one. I just wanted to show the ones that were more, that I thought were much better, but let me show you a Zimbabwean one. Just hold on. If it cuts, just use the same link to rejoin. But let me find, yeah, just use the same link. Well,